Hey everyone, welcome to Crypto Data. So today I'm going to talk about why everything's been declining and when I think we're going to start the next bull run. So looking at everything, we can see it's down double digits. I mean, Bitcoin's down 10% to $8,736. It's probably the worst day we've had since February 14th. I know a lot of people weren't expecting this. It kind of just came out of the blue. But I'm going to go over a couple of reasons why I think everything's declining. So when we look at Bitcoin here, we can see it fell through all these support levels. The one we wanted to hold was around 9,200. It fell through that. Now this is a 4-hour chart. The next big support level I see is about 8,500. So again, we're going to keep an eye on that. And then if that falls, then we could be looking about 78 to 8,000. So again, I mean, this RSI is completely oversold, just begging for a bounce right now. I see a lot of people on Twitter, they're pretty bearish right now. So usually, you know, when the sentiment is kind of bearish and no one's really talking about crypto, that's usually when we start bouncing. So just keep an eye on that for the next day or two. But there's an article here that was published today on CoinDesk, and it talks about Bitcoin dropping over $800 in an hour. And there are some big red candles today, you know, some big sells going on. And some of the main reasons it talks about is pretty much a combination of factors. So it talks about, you know, the hack issue with Binance, which turned out not to be a hack at all. And then a warning from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission about exchange compliance. And then a report from the trustee of Mt. Gox revealing that he has some 400 million in Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash that he liquidated over a several month period. So this is what I want to talk about here. The Mt. Gox thing. So a couple people have been talking about this. You know, I think it's probably a bigger issue than people are playing it to be. Basically what happened was, you know, whenever Mt. Gox was hacked, you know, they lost a lot of money. I think it was, you know, the most amount of money lost ever. I think it was in the billions, and they were able to recover about 200,000 of those Bitcoins. But so pretty much right now they gave it to a trustee, and that trustee has nearly $1.8 billion worth of Bitcoin. And it talks about here, and it says, you know, over $400 million of that was liquidated from, you know, December to February. And we found that out. And I think that was kind of some of the reasons why we've been seeing some of these declines. And it says here, it says the details of the sale were published on March 7th by a trustee, revealing that an amount worth roughly 400 million at press time was generated. It says, according to the report, the trustee liquidated 35,000 Bitcoin and 34,000 in Bitcoin Cash. So the trustee says, as a result of the consultation with the court, I considered it necessary and reasonable to sell a certain amount of Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash at this point and secure a certain amount of money for distribution resources. And thus, I sold the amount of BTC and Bitcoin Cash above. I made efforts to sell Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash at a high price as possible in light of the market price of Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash at the time of sale. Basically saying, you know, he tried to get the most money possible. And it says here, it says, notably, wallets associated with Mt. Gox Trustee saw significant withdrawals between December and February, the period in which were sold, including 18,000 Bitcoin that was moved on February 5th. And that was the day we saw steep declines across all cryptocurrency markets. So again, I think this is definitely one of the big issues. You know, people kind of dismiss this and say, oh, one person can't control it that much. But I mean, if he's talking with everyone and kind of it's like a coordinated sell effort, you know, then that could be kind of fuel to the fire as to why we've been having these big drops. And it says, according to Kobayashi's report, additional liquidations could be coming, pending approval from the bankruptcy court. I plan to consult with the court and determine further sale of Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, he wrote. And it says, as it stands, he's in possession of 166,000 Bitcoin, an amount worth 1.7 billion at press time, and about 197 million worth of Bitcoin Cash. So that is a huge amount of money. I know that, you know, a lot of people are saying, you know, why doesn't he just do over-the-counter selling, which I completely agree with, because for him selling it like he is on the exchange, I mean, that's very reckless, because really, if he traded it over the counter, you know, to investors, he could probably get a higher price for it. And then he wouldn't crash the exchanges and crash the prices like they are. So again, I think that this is definitely contributing. I'm sure it's not the only reason why, you know, everything's been declining as much as it has. But again, just having this in the spotlight right now, I mean, it's kind of, you know, creating some FUD in the market. And I think that when people see this, you know, maybe they panic sell, or because they want to get out because they don't want to be caught, you know, when he sells more of it. But again, I think, you know, I think we'll see. Hopefully he finds, you know, some better way to liquidate this. Like I said, over the counter selling where it doesn't affect exchanges. So I think we'll definitely, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of days. But on top of that, I know some people were talking about, you know, we're already due for a correction. So I think that combined with some of the FUD news and everything kind of just, again, created that perfect storm, which we saw this decline here. Now, with that being said, I do think that a bounce is coming very soon. You know, again, when people are panic selling, when they're, you know, depressed, when there's all kinds of, you know, negative talk about it, then that's usually the time when we start bouncing. So again, there hasn't been that much negative news. So again, that's why it's caught people off guard, this drop here. So I think that we'll definitely see a bounce very soon. Again, you know, don't panic. If you're thinking about selling or not, you know, I recommend just holding your coins. But again, it's not investment advice, just my opinion. But, you know, we've always had bounce backs. And I think, again, this is just another one of those FUD moments, people panic selling because they don't understand the whole macroeconomic view. So again, there's still very bullish news on Bitcoin. You know, I see us bouncing very soon, and there's a lot of stuff in the works. And again, this is just one of those short-term corrections that we're having. I know a lot of people are talking that, you know, April's going to be the month when we're going to start running very bullish, but I think we'll definitely be sooner than that. So we'll have to see in the next coming days. But again, just wanted to bring that out there, as, you know, since there hasn't really been any news headlines. I think this Mt. Gox thing may have some contributing factor, as well as a couple other things. Just, you know, with the FUD going on with the SEC and everything. But again, with regulations, with cryptocurrencies, you know, overall that's positive, because when you make exchanges and everything safer, then that causes other investors to come in because they're, you know, they know everything's compliant and they're following the rules, and then you get, you know, loads of money coming into the market. So overall, I think that's bullish. I think this is the only thing where it's just kind of, you know, the only bearish news really is just he has all this Bitcoin and he's just trying to sell it, you know, for what he can. So again, just something to keep an eye on. And again, don't panic. You know, this will roll over just like everything else does. So with that, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, comment if you have any questions, and please subscribe if you haven't. Till next time, thanks for watching.